interpenetrating. There was, in the medieval ages, a term that was used, quintessence, which was thought to interpenetrate everything and was, some people thought back then, the basic building blocks of reality in the universe. Is that right, Tiller?
Yeah, they're using it.
Well, it's come back now. I have a book on it. If you have a book on something, you think you know what you're talking about. There were also, in the Middle Ages and even earlier, back into Greek times, the word ether, or aether, which was thought to be the same, interpenetrating everything, including matter. There was also in Sanskrit the word akasha, or akasa. Are some of you familiar with that? Except in Sanskrit, the akasa was loaded with intuitive information. Did you realize that? That if you could get into the akasa, you could find out anything. Sometimes it was called a perpetual record, the record of everything that had happened or will happen, and so forth and so on. And these terms are drifting back into our postmodern sciences. You see, the modern age was firmly locked into materialism, and now that materialism has been locked down or reduced to 4%, these other things are going to become interesting. And that's why the future, what we're interested in, is going to change, because there may be some explanations in these other parts of stuff. Why does all information that's the human bio-body process have to be explainable as physical source or processes? Are any of you asleep yet? Now, Sanskrit has a great deal to say about interpenetrating stuffs. And when Sanskrit was first translated into Western languages, you see, the interpenetrating concept, which is definitely in there. I have spent 2 years figuring this out, that there was the material level, there was this level, and they were all thought of as differently when they got translated in French and German and into English and everything. So we have the matter level, and we have the spiritual level, and we have this level, and so forth and so on. And these are thought of as distinct and separate, right? Stuff. Yeah. But they are stuff, and they're interpenetrating. And so in Sanskrit, other realities, see, I've entitled it, Sanskrit Other Realities. Oh, the quintessence book is entitled The Mystery of the Missing Mass of the Universe, the revised edition of the Fifth Essence, published in 1971 by Lawrence Krauss, Chairman of Physics at Case Western Reserve University, if you're all interested in reading that. These things are called lokas, L-O-K-A-S, and most of them are based on the root word bhur, B-H-U-R, meaning earth, matter, material existence, and experience of man's earth world. Though the bhur loka refers to the material universe, and it's the lowest of the universes, the levels, whatever you want to call it. Above that, I'm going to talk about it from the English point of view. Above the bhur loka is the bhuvar loka. And when you enter the bhur loka, you become into matter. You are forming yourself into the material world. When you come into the bhuvar loka, the world of vitalistic manifestation of embodied life existence, the becoming within emotions, passions, affectations, which desire is the pivot. This is called, in many mystical, the desire realm. Is any of that familiar to you? Just becoming matter doesn't do anything. You have to have desires and passions too. If you didn't have those, what would your physical body be? A blob, or something like that. Okay. Just between the Bhuvar Loka and the Bur Loka, earth and the desire principle is the realm of the entangled mind. It's in Sanskrit. The entanglements between physicality and the passions, and that ends up with the entangled minds, So if you can't get above those three lokas, you're sort of trapped in what is called the wheel of rebirth until you can get out of it. This is in Sanskrit, but I have a punchline that brings them all together. Above these three lokas is the Swar Loka, the world of pure light, pure unentangled thought and feeling and becoming within a pure psychic state or plane. Is that sinking in? Matter is entangled with passions and desires or vice versa, so you have entangled things as long as you're focused in that. And the Svarloka is you lift up out of that and you're in the... I'll read it again. You should jump for joy, actually. The world of light, pure, unentangled thought and feeling. Have any of you ever gone or experienced that state, condition? Come on, raise your hands. How many haven't experienced it? Well, now, there are half the people here not raising their hands at all.
How does one know within oneself if one is there?
This is not the question period. This is one of my great mentors, but he has to be controlled once in a while. Okay, there are several lokas. The Hindu mystics argue about whether there's 7 or 17. We don't need to go into that. But because I just picked out the ones that we might have a chance of recognizing. Let's see. Okay, I read that one. And I read Svarloka. That's the intuitional plane. Akasha. Quintessence. In these different languages. There's the Maharloka. The world, it's described very simply as the realm of vast. V-A-S-T. We would say in English, the realm of infinity, or something like that. And that's about all it says about it. Because obviously, the writers of these things here said if you're trapped in the first three lokas, entangled in things, you probably will never see the vast. We would say vastness, but they use the noun rather than the other word. So, now we would think of these as different levels, right? Down here, down here, down here, down here. But the clincher is that the Sanskrit discusses these as all interpenetrating. So we are within matter and within all of the other realms, but we don't know where we are exactly. We know we're in matter. Does anybody here not think they're in matter? I've met a couple, actually. Interpenetrating. The Sanskrit discusses what we call consciousness, but it discusses it in slightly different terms. All of these lokas are interpenetrating each other. They're with us now, just like other dimensions interpenetrating our dimensions here. And they are also interpenetrating our consciousness. And our consciousness is a big thing of interpenetrating of these different lokas, which means that they are available to us if we can figure out how to get out of the entanglements or something like that and tap into them. So when you have a spontaneous experience of another dimension, is that explainable by science? Did you experience it in spite of that? How many here have experienced another dimension? Oh, see? Is remote viewing indicative of another dimension that transcends physical matter, energy, space, and time? Good. Have I bored you? No. This is Dr. What is your name? This is Dr. Stanislaus Ojak. He's a psychologist, right? Yes, he is. He's 92, and he's famous in backdoor experimental circles by taking pictures with the lens cap on and getting images on them. Take a bow. Stand up, take a bow. Can you all do that? Now, you see, the disappearance of the matter-only theory has got to have great repercussions in starting now in the future, you know.